by Tomlin's Jewelry. Remember to order your art carved or gold lance class rings at affordable prices at Tomlin's Jewelry and Gifts on the northeast corner of the square in Cassville. And we appreciate their sponsorship of Wildcat football. Also, Sports World on the square in Cassville. You'll find them located at 709 Main Street on the east side of the Cassville Square. Screen printing and embroidery done for caps, jackets, shirts, uniforms. They also have school athletic clothing. Call 417-847-5366. Sports World on the square in Cassville. Some other scores from around the area in week number 10, opening of district play. Other teams involved in Class 3 District 6, opposite of the Cassville Aurora game. We've got the Monette-Hollister matchup going on up in Monette tonight, and the Cubs lead Hollister 28-14. That game late in the first half. On the other side of the bracket, Seneca and Reed Spring knotted up at 7, and they have already started the second half. And Mount Vernon leading 20-0 over Nevada, and that game at halftime. Now that we talked in the pregame, the winner of this district will play the winner of the Class 3 District 5 bracket in the quarterfinals. Number 1 team in the state, Blair Oaks, 55-0 over St. James at halftime. Osage trailing Salem, as Salem leading over Osage 14-12. Eldon and Buffalo scoreless. That game was early in the first half. And Rogersville just has a 6-0 lead over Springfield Catholic, and that game has reached halftime. Other teams in the Big 8 involved in district play tonight. Houston leading East Newton, that game over in Houston, Missouri, and the Patriots trailing 20-7. And Lamar has a 35-14 lead over California, that game going on up at Lamar.
And I believe the last score I saw.
And that's Class 2 district, by the way, East Newton and Lamar.
And moving up a class, the last score I saw from Webb City is 28-7 over the McDonald County Mustangs.
We are at halftime here at Cassville. The Wildcats leading over the Hound Dogs 27-6. Tonight's halftime show brought to you by Shoemaker Tire. Place you can count on for tires, and you have been able to do that since 1961. Mark and the gang at Shoemaker Tire will have you up and running when you need a new set of tires in no time flat, or when you just have no time for flat. Shoemaker Tire, Highway 86 in Golden. We're going to take a break and be back with more of the halftime. Look at some of the first half numbers. You're listening to Class 3 District 6 football here on the Talon Network. We are at halftime. The Wildcats leading the Aurora Hound Dogs 27-6. Tonight's halftime show brought to you by Shoemaker Tire. Over 50 years of taking care of their customers like no one else. Shoemaker Tire, Highway 86 in Golden, Missouri. Call 417-271-3490 or find them online, shoemakertire.com. Looking at some of the numbers from the first half, team stats, the Hound Dogs ran the ball 26 times for 98 yards. They completed 8 of 14 passes for 91 yards through the air for a total of 189 yards of offense. Hound Dogs picked up 8 first downs. They turned it over twice, 1 interception and 1 lost fumble. They were penalized 3 times for 35 yards and punted twice for a 28-yard average. Cassville, 12 carries for 87 yards. They completed 5 of 7 passes for 106 yards for a total of 193 yards of offense. Wildcats picked up 9 first downs, did not turn the ball over. They were penalized twice for 20 yards and punted once for 47 yards. The Hound Dogs, led by Jay Lee, the quarterback for the Dogs, ran for 81 yards in the first half on 17 carries and a touchdown. He also threw for 91 yards, completing 8 of his 14 passing attempts, but he did have the interception. Cameron Savage, 10 yards on 2 carries. Brody Sims, 9 yards on 3 carries. Cole Roman had 4 catches for 42 yards. Sims also had 2 catches for 26 yards in the half. For Cassville, Devin Bates carried for 19 yards on 3 carries. Bowen Preddy had 3 carries for 22 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jericho Ferris, 4 carries for 31 yards. DJ White, 2 carries for 15 yards. White also has 3 catches for 39 yards. Preddy has a reception for 15 yards, and that was good for a touchdown. And Brett Cooper, 1 catch on the night for 52 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, and again, you see Wildcats spreading it around. A lot of people touching the football on offense, and just kind of keeps everybody involved. Nobody knows who's going to get it, and that's one of the things that I like about Clay Weldy is he does share the wealth. He spreads it around to his receivers, running backs, quarterbacks playing well tonight, running football hard. So. Kind of anxious to see this offense come out and start in the third quarter. See if there's a little bit of a difference. There wasn't a lot of fire out of this football team to start the game, and again, maybe that's just playoff nerves or whatever. Maybe it's looking past this Aurora football team, but they know they're in a bit of a dogfight right now. So hopefully they come out with a little more life and play some inspired football here in the second half.
27-6, Cassville leading over Aurora here at the half, and both teams are back out of the locker room getting warmed up and set to start the third quarter. We'll step aside, let you hear from our sponsors, be back with that third quarter of play. You're listening to District Football here on the Talon Network. Getting ready to start the second half. Todd Speakman running the camera for us on Cassville WebTV. 27-6, the Wildcats leading the Hound Dogs here in week number 1 of district play. Tonight's third quarter brought to you by J&M Pallet Company. where with over 15 years of experience, they specialize in new, used, and custom-built pallets. They're backing the Wildcats all the way. In God we trust is their motto at J&M Pallet Company. Call 847-6732. That's 847-6732. Cassville's going to get the football to start the second half with that 27-6 lead. And we'll see if the Wildcats can add to their lead or if the Hound Dogs can slow them down and get the football back.
One thing we have not seen, I believe, this season, Sammy, is a kickoff return for score from the Wildcats. Ferris had a nice return earlier in the game, so we'll see what happens here.
The kick is a squib kick, and we have whistles as the Hound Dogs got a little too enthusiastic there. I think somebody jumped across the 40-yard line before the ball was kicked away. So that's going to back it up to the 35, and we're going to re-kick. .40 yards of penalties against the Hound Dogs tonight on 4 flags. Cassville's been whistled for a couple of holding penalties for a total of 20 yards. Jericho Ferris moves up to his own 20 now, waiting the kick. And the Hound Dogs do the squib kick again. Bounces at the 40, rolls down inside the 30, scooped up by Cooper. Cooper brings it to the Cassville sideline, turns the corner, he's across the 40. He's got a seam, he's across the 50, down inside the 40, a blocker in front, trying to figure out which way the blocker's going to turn the defender, and Cooper races all the way down inside the 20-yard line, close to the 15. He was having a hard time. Are you going to turn him in? Or are you going to turn him out? Which way do I need to go? And he just kept running right behind him. And a great return. Well, you almost got your wish. We got a big return that takes it all the way down to the 15-yard line.
Yeah, great job there as Cooper took it from the far side of the field, brought it all the way across the field up the Wildcat sideline. It was kind of comical. He's kind of running right behind his blocker. And, hey, push him one way or the other, and I'll go there. But great return.
So split backfield behind Bates on first down. And they give the ball to Ferris, and Ferris dives off right tackle down to the 10-yard line, picks up 5 yards. Wildcats into the red zone already, and the red zone drive brought to you by Roark Diesel. Since 2006, they've been providing a huge selection of diesel performance products for Cassville and surrounding area. You can find them online at roarkdiesel.com or call 847-6560.
Ferris, as he was tackled there, hit the ground pretty violently. He's going to come off the field here as Olberts comes in at fullback here.
They gave him just 4 yards down to the 11, so it's second down and 6, and Preddy gets the call on second down, trying to dive down to the 5-yard line. Got hit hard as well, hangs on to the football. They spot him down at the 8 after a pickup of 3, and it'll bring up third down and about 2.5 yards to go.
Yeah, trying to leap a tackler at the line of scrimmage. Not a lot of success on the play. A lot of white shirts corralling Preddy there.
So Cassville facing third and short inside the 10-yard line. They go with the I formation, and they give to Preddy. Starts to his right, cuts back to his left, and a good job by one of the linemen for the Hound Dogs. That was Dalton Klein. Klein has been one of those players that's been plagued with injuries this year, but he is back and playing healthy for the Hound Dogs here in the district game and makes a nice tackle, stops Preddy short of the 5-yard line as he drops him at the 7, and it'll bring up 4th and 2.
Well, Klein was just able to whip his man on the line of scrimmage. That's all there is to it. He got right around him. Preddy tried to make a move, just really nowhere to go.
Well, the Wildcats are going to go for it here on 4th and short. They bring in the Rhino package. They've got Olberts, Preddy, and Ferris. They give it to Ferris. Ferris runs into a wall, now bounces around the pile of players, fighting for extra yardage, and it looks like he has the first down. Good second effort by Jericho Ferris, and the Wildcats will have it 1st and goal from inside the 3.
Yeah, good effort there by Ferris. Trying to go off the right side, ran into all kinds of resistance. Saw a little seam to his left, was able to regroup, head that way, and pick up a big first down.
Wildcat first down brought to you by Sears Hometown Store. They offer the best in quality brand name appliances like Kenmore, Samsung, LG, Whirlpool, and many more. So 1st and goal from the 3, back to the Rhino package. Bates checks his running backs, and he's going to run in behind all 3 of them, and he walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Cassville.
Tough play to stop right there in short yardage. Got 3 running backs leading the way. Bates just a quarterback keeper, a little sweep around the right edge, untouched into the end zone. Good play call on the goal line.
So a 3-yard plunge for Devin Bates, his first rushing touchdown of the night. And the Wildcats extend their lead to 33-6. And now trying to add on the point after. Drake Reese, another low snap, but Bates is able to get it down on the tee, and the kick by Reese is up and in. So the Wildcat touchdown brought to you by Willis Insurance. For over 130 years, Willis Insurance has been there to help their customers with their insurance needs. You don't stay in business for that long unless you treat your customers right. They're located in Shell Knob and in Cassville, 2 locations to better serve the area. Willis Insurance, your trusted choice insurance agent. Wildcat Extra Point brought to you by Crowder College. With a satellite campus in Cassville, you can find out more about class and enrollment information by going online, crowder.edu. So 5 plays, 15 yards after the big return by Brett Cooper, and the 3-yard touchdown by Devin Bates adds to the Wildcat lead, 34-6 now over the Hound Dogs.
You know, little things, big play in special teams, a turnover that your defense is able to create, a good strong run, physical run by a running back. Those things, little things like that, they can have a big impact to the psyche of a football team. Starting to see a little more bounce, a little more life over on the sideline for the Wildcats. And they're going to look a little different here in the second half, I believe.
Reese to kick it away. The Wildcat kickoff brought to you by Baywash Car Wash, and he gets a good leg into this one and takes Rollman back about 5 yards into the end zone. So the Hound Dogs will start their first drive of the second half at their own 20-yard line.
Another strong kick by Reese. Impressive kicking the ball like that on a night like tonight.
Tonight's third quarter brought to you by J&M Pallet Company. They repair used pallets, build and design new and custom pallets during this game and the games to come. Jeff reminds team members that through God, all things are possible. Phone J&M Pallet Company, 847-6732. So the Hound Dogs with the ball for the first time here in the second half, trailing 34-6. Jay Lee brings his team up to the line of scrimmage. He's got receivers split right and left. They go with double slot. They bring Sims in motion. Lee going to run the ball that way. It's loose, and a scramble for it between the 20 and the 25, and it looks like the Wildcats have it, and they do. Third turnover of the night against the Hound Dogs, and Cassville takes over at the Aurora 22 or 23-yard line. Looks like the 23.
Ball just popped out. I couldn't really tell if somebody got a hand in there or was able to punch it out from the backside, but the Wildcats right there to fall on it, and once again in striking distance. We'll see after a turnover deep in the Hound Dog territory, we'll see if the Wildcats go for the end zone on first down here.
Another score by Cassville. We'll get the running clock into play. And Bates gives the ball on the pitch to Ferris. Ferris get a kick out block from Preddy, makes a cutback at the 20, and slips his way down to about the 18. One side judge looks like they may even give him the 17. Looks like they are going to put it at the 17 for a gain of nearly 6 yards.
Just trying a little toss sweep. Let Ferris use his speed right there. Defended pretty well. He was able to get about 5 yards after the kick out by Preddy.
So second down facing the Wildcats. Reese goes wide to the left. DJ White comes wide to the right. They split the backfield again behind Bates. Under 9 minutes left to go here, third quarter. Right up the middle, the handoff goes to Ferris, and Ferris plows his way down to the 10-yard line. Good hard run by Jericho Ferris. They say his knee went down at the 9 after a gain of 8, but it's a Wildcat first down. The Wildcat first down brought to you by Sears Hometown Store. Whether you're looking for a refrigerator, freezer, cooking appliance, washer, dryer, tools, lawnmowers, they have it all. 99 Highway 37 South in Cassville.
Just straight ahead for the first down. Good blocking up front.
51 yards now on the ground tonight for Ferris on 8 carries. This drive into the red zone brought to you by Roark Diesel. Bates makes a man miss at the line of scrimmage. Slips down to the 5-yard line. Good job with the footwork there by the quarterback for the Cassville. As Devin Bates picks up 6 yards. Looks like they're going to give him 7 yards to the 4. And it'll bring up second and goal.
Well, you're not going to see just great top-end speed from Bates, but what you do see out of him is quickness and short burst speed, and you see that come into play a lot in the option game.
Cassville is able to pick up a first down without getting into the end zone. But right now, 2nd and goal from the 4. They give the ball to Ferris. Hard run right up the middle, and the hole closed quickly. Hound Dog defense collapsing on the ball carrier after a pickup of about 2 yards down to the 2. And it'll bring up 3rd down and less than 1. So Cassville able to convert only 1 third down in the first half, but then got one leg up over the top football and takes it in for the score, and Cassville adds to their lead.
Wishbone formation. A couple of running backs straight ahead. Ferris trying to tuck in right behind him. A nice effort individually to fight for that last yard.
So now Reese in to attempt another point after. Good snap this time, and the kick is up, and it is through. The Wildcat touchdown brought to you by Willis Insurance for auto, home, health, life, and commercial insurance. In Cassville, on the square, and in Shell Knob in the Bridgeway Plaza. Stop by and get a quote today. The Wildcat Extra Point brought to you by Crowder College. Find out more online about Crowder College by going to crowder.edu. 41-6, Cassville with the lead, and now the 35-point rule is into effect, and we'll have a running clock until the Hound Dogs can get that lead back under 35 points. Right now, 7.5 left to go here in the third quarter.
The Wildcats score twice very quickly here in this third quarter after a long special teams run and a big play by the defense, giving short field to the offense. So special teams doing their job, defense much better, and again, the offense continues to click, find a way to put points on the board.
Tonight's third quarter brought to you by J&M Pallet Company with the motto, "In God We Trust." Remember, during the third quarters of your life, praise God whether you win or lose and give him the victory. Phone Jeff for all your pallet needs at 847-6732. And the Wildcat kickoff about ready to happen here off the foot of Drake Reese, brought to you by Baywash Car Wash. They have the all-new IQ Soft Cloth Automatic featuring custom wash technology, giving you the perfect wash every time at Baywash in Cassville. A line drive kick this time, bounces at the 10. It's picked up back around the 5 by Rollman. Rollman trying to get to the Hound Dog sidelines. He breaks the tackle and takes it across the 25, out near the 30 before he is finally wrestled to the ground.
A nice return there, heading towards that Hound Dog sideline. Hound Dogs take over. Wildcat defense coming back out on the field here.
And they are going to put it right down at the 30-yard line. 1st and 10 Hound Dogs. 41-6 Cassville with the lead. Not quite halfway through quarter number 3, but we do have the running clock now. Hound Dogs quickly up to the line of scrimmage. Jay Lee up under center. Sims comes in motion. They're going to run the option to the short side of the field. Lee, dragging a tackler along for the ride, is brought down shy of the 35-yard line. He is able to pick up, looks like 4 yards, and it'll bring up 2nd down and long. Lee having a nice night, 85 yards unofficially on 18 carries. Twin receivers right and left this time for the Hound Dog formation. One lone setback is Savage behind Lee, and now we got a flag at the snap of the football. Lee was going to carry it himself, but a penalty flag is thrown as we got a procedure penalty against the Hound Dogs. That'll back them up 5 yards as they move it back to the 29. Under 6 minutes now left to play, third quarter. Cassville on top, 41-6. The winner advances on to the district semifinals next Friday night. If Cassville is able to advance, they will get to host that game next Friday here in Cassville. Whoever wins between Monette and Hollister. Right now it's the Cubs leading over the Tigers just up north on Highway 37 in Monette. Lee wanted to throw the football, and now he has to drop back and tries to scramble away from the defense of the Wildcats. Gets back to the 30-yard line, which is where this drive began, and he is going to be dropped there. So it's a pickup of only 1, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
Well, he ran into big Garrett Kreitz that time. Kreitz if he's able to get his hands on you, get his arms wrapped around you, good luck. Not only is he a big, strong defensive tackle, he's a wrestler. And you're going to have a hard time getting away from him.
So Jay Lee with a quick three-step drop, looking downfield. He's got a man open here in the flats, but now he's got a scramble, pressure coming. Rolling around to his right, throws back across the middle of the field. It's intercepted by Cade Hayward out at the 43-yard line. Hayward stepping right in front of the intended receiver, and that's the 4th turnover of the night against the Hound Dogs as Hayward races down the sidelines, takes it inside the 25, down to around the 23.
Great pressure by the Wildcat defensive line. Lee running all over the place, trying to look downfield. Thought he had an open receiver. Looked like Hayward kind of set him up for it a little bit as the ball was released. Hayward broke on it. Nice job with the pick and a nice return. And again, this Wildcat offense, short yards to work with.
Gets a little better spot than I thought, too. It looks like it's going to be about the 22-yard line of the Hound Dogs. And Cassville with Devin Bates under center. Gives it to Bowen Preddy. Preddy breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage. He's at the 10, at the 5, touchdown Wildcats. Second effort by Preddy as he bounces off 2 Hound Dog defenders and races around the end for the score.
Very physical run and a really nice job by his teammate and wide receiver DJ White out on the edge, engaging the corner. Nowhere to go. Preddy, physical run, able to bounce it outside, able to cut off of the white block, and into the end zone he goes.
And that is the 4th touchdown of the night for Bowen Preddy. 3 rushing and 1 receiving.
Yeah, have a night.
And now Cassville having some personnel issues. They've got to hurry and get a player in. Play clock down to 5 seconds. Bates is going to have to hurry. It's down to 3. He's going to have to get that ball snapped. Quit checking with Reese. All right, they're going to take a delay of game here. It's kind of routine, though, that gets disrupted when something like that happens, because when Bates goes down to a knee over the tee, he checks with his kicker, Reese, and makes sure Reese gives him the nod that ready for the snap. And so you're waiting for that nod from your kicker, but all the time the play clock is ticking away. And
right.
They take the 5-yard penalty, so it'll back it out, put the tee down at the 15. Turns up being a 25-yard attempt, but for only 1 point. And the kick by Reese, who has more than enough leg, puts it through the uprights. And it's now Cassville leading 48-6 over the Hound Dogs. Wildcat touchdown brought to you by Willis Insurance for auto, home, health, life, and commercial insurance. Willis Insurance on the square in Cassville and in the Bridgeway Plaza in Shell Knob. Stop by and get a quote today. Wildcat Extra Point brought to you by Crowder College. Find out more online, crowder.edu. Cassville has taken advantage of 3 of the, nope, they've taken advantage of all 4 turnovers. Right. They've scored touchdowns after all 4 turnovers tonight, and that's being about as efficient as you can get. When the team makes a mistake that you're playing and turns it over, you always want to try to make that miscue hurt, and the best way to do that is get a touchdown, and Cassville's been able to do that all 4 times.
Yeah, and that's what you want. And this time of year, you want to be clicking, and you want to be able, your offense, able to take advantage of gifts, and the Wildcats have certainly done that tonight and put the ball in the end zone a bunch of times.
Reese is going to kick it away. The Wildcat kickoff brought to you by Baywash Car Wash. A clean car is a happy car, and that makes you feel good. Rollman back at his own 5-yard line. Reese a line drive kick, and it's picked up by Jay Lee at the 20-yard line. Don't know whether he was expecting that or not, but it's a good thing he had his eyes open as the ball came flying through about head high and dropped right into his lap, and he is able to return it out across the 30 to the 36-yard line, and that's where the Hound Dogs will start this drive.
Well, one thing I can say for certain is there's 100% no quit in Jay Lee. And I'm not saying anything against any of the other Hound Dogs, but Jay Lee plays very hard every snap.
Yeah, when you're looking for a senior leader, boy, you can look to number 12 because he is showing you how to do it.
Absolutely.
He knew going in that they were going to be short-handed, but this young man, and he's been playing hurt for part of the year as well, there's just no quit in the Hound Dog quarterback.
Players gather around. Looks like somebody may be injured down there. That's all the Hound Dogs need is another injury.
Looks like Brody Sims, he was trying to throw a block for Lee, who was able to jump out to the 40-yard line and pick up 4 yards. Jay Lee now unofficially 90 yards rushing tonight on 20 carries.
At the tail end of that play, all the players that were around kind of stood and just kind of stopped. So obviously they all knew immediately there was a problem. And thankfully,
Sims
Mr.
on the night
Sims
has over 30 yards of offense.
he's up, being helped off the field, but he is walking very gingerly. Looks like a right leg issue. We hate to speculate. It's just saying what we see. So not sure what part, knee, ankle, anything like that, but he is walking on his own off the field. So that's good to see.
So the clock stopped temporarily for the injured player. That is one of the things that can stop a clock after you get to the 35-point rule. And the Hound Dogs now facing second down and 6. Lee going to run it himself. Has the 45, has the 50, and picks up a Hound Dog first down. As it's a gain of 10 yards for Jay Lee, and the Hound Dogs will move the chains.
Yeah, and Lee hops up, hobbling. Now he's working his way off to the sideline, limping extremely bad.
Well, backup quarterback for the Hound Dogs is a sophomore, Mason Patterson. So you got two of your key offensive guys, Sims and Lee, going out on consecutive plays.
Wow.
So now Mason Patterson, the sophomore quarterback, will take over.
Lee had that right knee rolled up on just a little bit in the first half, came up a little gingerly, this time limping pretty severely to the sideline. We hope he's okay.
So Patterson up under center, and we've got a penalty flag thrown as it looks like a delay of game penalty against Aurora. Having to shuffle in some new personnel, it took a little extra time, and play clock expired on the Hound Dogs, so that will back them up.
Patterson, young quarterback, 6'3", sophomore. Probably the last thing that he expected tonight was to have to come in and play quarterback in this game.
So on 1st and 15, they give on the inside handoff, little misdirection in the backfield as Cole Rollman, the ball carrier, and he takes it back close to the 50-yard line. Say his knee went down at the 49 for a gain of 3.
It looks like Jay Lee, limping still, going to come into this game. I'll tell you what, just a tough kid.
Yeah, he got hurt a couple of weeks ago. I believe it was in the Springfield Catholic game, an arm issue at that time, and Patterson had to come in and call the signals for a little while, but then Lee was able to get going the next week, but he had to sit out for much of that second half. So Patterson not unaccustomed to being the quarterback, but we've got a timeout now as the Hound Dogs still trying to shuffle correct players in with the injuries happening here in the closing seconds of the third quarter. So stoppage of play. Timeout on the field brought to you by Superior Metal. If you're looking for roofing and storage shed needs, you can see them for any of those. Superior Metal, Highway 76 south of Cassville. Tonight's third quarter brought to you by J&M Pallet Company, where pallets are customized to fit your needs. Their motto is "In God We Trust." Jeff is an avid Wildcat supporter. He's just a call away, 847-6732. Still 42 seconds left to go here in the third. Cassville leading 48-6. And both coaches meeting with their troops, and now Hound Dogs break huddle and come back out onto the field.
Got a few updates from
other games here in District 6. Mount Vernon leading Nevada 26-0. Reed Spring has taken the lead over Seneca 14-3, and Monette on top, or 14-13, excuse me, 14-13, and Monette leads Hollister 31-14. Lee pitches the ball to Rollman, who in turn gives it on an end around to Patterson. Patterson looked for a moment like he wanted to throw the football, but no one was open, so he had to run, and he is hit hard over here on the Cassville sideline. Hangs on to the football as Killian Barbie makes the stop after Patterson was able to take it down to the Wildcat 46.
Yeah, big shot there. Barbie throwing his name in the hat tonight, right over in front of the Wildcat bench. And just one of those requirements, the crowd reaction from the big hit, and they definitely got the crowd excited on that one.
It was a gain of 4, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 8. And that will be the final play of the third quarter. Clock expires, and we'll head to the fourth. We'll step aside and be back with the final 12 minutes. You're listening to Wildcat football here in district competition, Class 3, District 6 football on the Talon Network. Mason Patterson wanting to throw the football, and the pressure coming from the Cassville defense drops Patterson all the way back at the Aurora 45-yard line. It's a loss of 9, and it'll bring up 4th down and about 17 to go.
Yeah, big pressure. Pryor ends up on the bottom of the pile with his arms around the quarterback. Does such a good job from that defensive end position getting after the opposing quarterback.
Cassville leading 48-6 as we play early on here in quarter number 4. We've got the running clock going, and the Hound Dogs going to go for it here on 4th down. Low snap. Patterson picks it up and looks for Rollman, and he throws it over his head and into the Cassville sideline, and the Wildcats will take over on downs.
And the Wildcats will gather the youngsters, send them out on the field with just under 11 minutes to go here. An opportunity to play Friday night and playoff football. Very exciting for them.
And this will be the 4th time here in the second half. All 4 possessions for the Wildcats here in the second half have started on the Hound Dog side of the 50.
Working with short field all night. That's a testament to the defense, Sammy. Defense done a great job. A little shaky, a little slow going in the first quarter, but since then, Sammy, the defense has really played well.
Cutter Hicks, your new quarterback, and we've got whistles as the play clock may have run out. And it did. So they will back him up 5 yards to the 50. And they'll try it again. Ten minutes left to play in the football game. Cassville leading 48-6. Wildcats taking their time coming out of the huddle. That's one thing. This second group has, for the most part, done a nice job throughout the season. When they have come in, they've done a nice job with the clock management. And Hicks back up under center's got receivers right and left, I formation behind him. Takes the count all the way down to 3 seconds when they snap the football. And off right tackle, the ball carrier for the Wildcats is able to surge ahead down close to the 45-yard line. And that was Fox. Ethan Fox carrying the football for a gain of nearly 5 yards, and it'll bring up 2nd down and about 10.5, looks like.
Well, in situations like this, you're not asking your young offense to do a whole lot. You want them to take care of the football, number one. Number two, burn that clock and just execute a basic offensive set. And for the most part, the young group has done that this season when they've had the opportunity.
They split the backfield this time behind Hicks. And again, he takes the clock down to 3 seconds. Handoff goes left tackle this time. And Ethan Fox, again, the ball carrier, takes it inside the 45 down to the 42-yard line for a gain of 3 more yards, and it'll bring up 3rd and 7.5, 8 yards.
Clock continuing to run, just under 8.5 minutes to go here.
Hound Dogs stay with a 4-man front here, and Cassville again taking plenty of time coming out of the huddle. Hicks watching the play clock, ticks down to 5 seconds. Now he creeps up under center. And they give the ball this time off right tackle. And the ball carrier this time breaks some tackles and moves it inside the 35 for a 1st down. And I believe that was Farrell Okel. We've called his name several times here throughout the season, and he does pick up a 1st down. Good run by Okel.
Big, strong, young back was hurt in the middle of this football season. We called him quite a bit early in the first couple of games. Hurt, not able to get a lot of playing time. A 180-pound young running back was in the middle of a big pile right there. He squirted out of it, just kept those legs churning. Picked up a big 1st down there. Nice job.
Wildcat 1st down brought to you by Sears Hometown Store for Kenmore, Samsung, LG, Whirlpool, GE. Sears located 99 Highway 37 South in Cassville. 1st and 10 Wildcats. Again, Cassville running the football. We're down to 7 minutes left to play here in the 4th quarter. Cassville leading 48-6. And they unpile the players and getting up off the bottom was who? I didn't see who carried that time. I missed the ball carrier. Apologize for that. They had a wad of black jerseys out there, and I didn't see who got up.
I think that was Okel again, Sammy.
Farrell Hokel, the sophomore. We're going to give him credit down to the 29 for a gain of 4.
Yeah, after that last run, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt here.
They keep the backfield split behind Cutter Hicks. And Hicks this time gives the ball to Okel once again. He tries to go around the right end and runs into a wall of Hound Dog defenders. And it's going to be little or no gain, and it'll bring up 3rd down. It will be no gain on the play. 3rd down and 7 to go for the Wildcats. And we're under 6 minutes left to play here in the 4th quarter. Tonight's 4th quarter brought to you by the Barbecue Station, located on the north side of the Cassville Square. Best in Texas-style barbecue served every day at 900 Main Street. You can also call them for all your catering needs at 847-0470. The Barbecue Station in Cassville.
Young quarterback for the Wildcats, Hicks, doing a good job being very aware of that play clock. Kept his team in the huddle rather than set them up to the line of scrimmage and make them sit there. He kept them in the huddle till the end.
So 3rd down and long, and now a flag comes out from the far sideline. Play clock hadn't expired, so did somebody line up offsides or line up in the neutral zone? We'll see whether it's against the offense or the defense, and it is against Cassville. Somebody lining up offside, so that'll back the Wildcats up 5 yards. We're down to 5 minutes left to play here in the 4th quarter. Again, the 4th quarter brought to you by the Barbecue Station. Best Texas-style barbecue this side of Dallas, right here in the Ozarks. They've got chicken, ribs, beef, pork with sides and desserts. They're open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 8. Come on into the Barbecue Station, 900 Main on the north side of the Cassville Square. So 3rd and 11 now from the Hound Dog 34. Letting the play clock tick away. Hicks takes the snap, hands it off left tackle. Big collision down around the 32-yard line as Fox gets the call. And they spot him down after a pickup of 2, maybe 3, and it'll bring up 4th down. The important thing for the Wildcats right now is they're running off a lot of time.
Absolutely.
Off the clock. So 4th and 8 at the 32 of the Hound Dogs.
Yeah, when they're able to move the chains just one time in a running clock situation, man, it just eats that clock up.
So Hicks lets her tick down inside 5 seconds again before he takes the snap, and now we got a flag again. Is somebody else offsides? Yes. So that'll drive offensive coordinator Clay Weldy crazy, as twice he's had somebody line up offside.
Just trying to figure out, is it an offensive lineman that's just lining up offsides, or?
Yeah, they'll be finding that out afterwards, I'm sure.
Well, you think an official might go up to one of the younger linemen if he's lining up offsides, say, hey, you're lining up offsides. We could do this all night and run the rest of the clock out, I guess. But,
yeah, it's definitely helping get some of the time off the clock. So 4th down and 13 now for Cassville. And Hound Dogs showing blitz. Wildcats running the football.
Fumbled, it looks like.
And, yeah, there is a loose football inside the 35 and a scramble for it. Either way, the Hound Dogs are going to get it back, whether Cassville lost it or whether they turn it over on downs. It's going to be Aurora football right at their own 35-yard line.
Well, young offense had an opportunity out there, kept the ball a long time, did what they were supposed to do. Now the young defense gets an opportunity to be out here on a Friday night in playoff football.
48-6, Cassville with the lead. 2:25 left to go here in the 4th quarter. And now we've got some substitutions coming in and out, and Cassville has to call a timeout. So with all the new faces coming in on the defensive side of the football, they were scrambling to get everyone in position, so they have to use a timeout. They'll just get everyone out there and set up, not have to talk about this one. The Wildcat timeout brought to you by Superior Metal. For a steel building, shop, or roof that will defend against the elements, look no further than Superior Metal Sales. You can also see them for any of your roofing or storage shed needs. Highway 76 south of Cassville. 1st and 10 Hound Dogs at their own 35. Cassville leading 48-6 with 2:18 left to go here in the fourth quarter. Wildcats looking to advance on to the semifinals next Friday night. They'll be here at home taking on either Monette or Hollister. Right now it looks to be the Cubs as they lead Hollister 38-14 in the fourth quarter. So a rematch of week number 1 of the season tonight here between Cassville and Aurora. And if everything holds to the way it is right now, we will have a rematch of the Big 8 contest from week number 3 between the Cubs and the Wildcats. We've got an offsides against the offense of the Hound Dogs this time.
Wow.
So
unbelievable. They've probably 4.5 minutes of run off the clock on offsides penalties on both teams.
Hound Dogs snap the football. Jay Lee fakes the handoff and brings the option to the wide side of the field. He's got the 40, he's got the 45. Pitches it to Sims, and Sims has got the sidelines, and he's down to the Cassville 30 before he is finally taken down. Boy, that is really close to a forward pitch.
The official threw his hat.
And there is
the official threw his hat.
His hat, yep, he is. We got a hatless side judge over here.
And it's going to be a forward pitch down.
Oh, because there's a flag back at the 42. The pitch happened about the 50. So he had thrown a flag back at the 42, and then the forward pitch came at midfield, and he had to throw his hat. So we've got multiple penalties on this play, and the clock is stopped with 1:22 left to go. So they're asking Coach Parnell, telling a holding penalty back at the 42, an illegal forward pitch at the 50. So they're going to decline the hold and take the illegal forward pass.
And that's a loss of down as well.
And we'll see where the ball ends up being spotted. Our inbox official, Mr. Speakman, says he's thinking back around the 40. Is that where you're? 44. Okay, 44-yard line.
He says it should be the 34 or the 44.
44.
We'll and it is the 44, so he had one of the yardages right.
Well, Lee was able to get 20 yards on the carry before he had the illegal pitch, so he's over 100 yards rushing tonight, but then the penalty takes off part of that. And as you said, it'll be a loss of down, so the ball at the 44-yard line. And the Hound Dogs line back up with 1:22 left to play. They do a little razzle-dazzle in the backfield. Pitch to Sims, who gives it to Rollman, and Rollman is going to be dropped for a loss back at the 42. Cassville did not go for any of that trickery and misdirection. And we've got a timeout by the Hound Dogs, stopping the clock with 1:09 left to go, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 3.
Interesting.
Well, that's their last timeout. I guess they figure they can't save it, so might as well use it.
Have them use them, I guess.
48-6, Cassville with the lead, 1:09 left to go. The Wildcats will be moving on to the semifinals next Friday night, and it'll be right here at Wildcat Stadium. Looks like it's going to be the Monette Cubs in the rematch, 38-14, Monette leading over Hollister. The other side of the district bracket, Mount Vernon has a 26-0 lead over Nevada. And Seneca has went back in front of Reed Spring. The Indians now leading the Wolves 21-14. Well, this rematch between the Cubs and the Wildcats is going to be one heck of a game on the one side of the bracket. But I tell you, Mount Vernon, and if Seneca can, really Seneca or Reed Spring both gave Mount Vernon fits during the regular season. Whoever it is, that'll be an interesting matchup on the other side of that bracket in the semifinals as well next Friday night.
Absolutely.
All right, both teams ready to go once again. 3rd down and 3 for the Hound Dogs. Jay Lee sends Rollman in motion. They hand it to Rollman. Back to Sims, who in turn pitches it back to Lee. So a double reverse, and now Lee's going to have to run, so it didn't work quite as well. They were hoping to throw the football, but no one was open downfield, and Lee is upended at the 40, and it goes for a loss of 2.
That's a play probably put in this week at practice that they said, hey, we worked on it a lot at practice. I'm going to call a timeout. We're going to make sure we get this one in. Unfortunately for the Hound Dogs, Wildcats defended it pretty well.
So that'll bring up 4th down, and the Hound Dogs will get one more snap. We're under 30 seconds left to play in the football game. And the Hound Dogs send twin receivers right and left. Lee, 3-step drop, throws over the head of intended receiver Brody Sims, and that will do it. The final seconds will tick away, and the Wildcats will pick up their 8th win of the year. The Hound Dog season will come to a close. Well, Aurora came out battling tonight back in the first half, but could not sustain that momentum. And the Wildcats pick up the victory 48-6, and they move on to the semifinals next Friday night, and that game will be played here in Cassville. Wildcats win it over the Hound Dogs. We'll step aside and be back with the postgame show. You're listening to District Football here on the Talon Network. athletic event is generally forgotten over time, but the actions of players, coaches, and spectators leave lasting impressions. The next time you attend a high school game, think of how history will remember you. Choose good sportsmanship and help rekindle the spirit of citizenship. Remember, the lessons you teach today will help develop better citizens in our communities for tomorrow. This message brought to you by the Missouri State High School Activities Association and the Talent Sports Network and Access Family Care. We appreciate their sponsorship of Wildcat football. Cassville wins at 48-6 over the Hound Dogs. Wildcats improving to 8-2 on the year, and they will move on to the district semifinals. And that game will be played next Friday night right here in Cassville. And it looks like they'll be taking on the Monette Cubs. The rematch of that Week 3 battle during Big 8 play will now be a district contest between Monette. They're leading 38-14 over Hollister. Cassville led 27-6 at halftime, and the Wildcats put the only points on the board in the second half. A 3-yard run from Devin Bates early in the third quarter made it 34-6. A 2-yard run from Jericho Ferris at the 7:30 mark of the third quarter made it 41-6 Wildcats. And then the scoring capped off by Bowen Preddy on a 22-yard run, his fourth touchdown of the night, with 3:38 left to go in the third. Drake Reese adding the PAT after all of those scores, and the Wildcats win it 48-6 tonight over the Hound Dogs. Aurora finishes the year at 1-9, and the Wildcats 8-2 move on to the district semifinals.
Yeah, convincing win for the Wildcats tonight, and we wish the best to the Hound Dogs as their season comes to a close tonight. But the Wildcats moving on, and big matchup next Friday night right here, and I expect the turnout to be pretty significant for that one, Sammy.
Cassville won the regular season matchup 21-14 in a hard-hitting, typical old-fashioned Big 8 football game, and we look forward to the same type of thing coming up next Friday night when the Cubs and the Wildcats battle again.
I have no reason to expect anything other than that itself. And Monette is, since that loss to the Wildcats, been very impressive throughout the rest of this season. So very good football team coming in here next week.
Looking at the final team stats from tonight's ball game, first of all, for the Hound Dogs, they finished with 36 rushes for 131 yards on the ground, 8 of 17 through the air for 91 yards for a total of 222 yards of offense. 9 first downs picked up by the Hound Dogs. They turned it over 4 times, though, tonight, 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles. They were penalized 7 times for 55 yards and punted twice for a 28-yard average. Cassville 29 rushes, I should say, for 170 yards on the ground, 5 of 7 through the air for 106. For a total of 276 yards of offense. Wildcats picked up 11 first downs, no turnovers. They were penalized 5 times for 35 yards, and they punted once for 47 yards tonight. Jay Lee ends up leading the Hound Dogs tonight, unofficially 118 yards and a touchdown on 23 carries. Cole Rollman had 4 catches for 42 yards. He also ran 5 times tonight. Brody Sims had 7 yards rushing and 26 yards receiving. And Cameron Savage 10 yards on the ground. Cassville was led by Jericho Ferris, 55 yards unofficially on 10 carries and a touchdown. Bowen Preddy had 48 yards on 6 carries and 3 touchdowns. And Devin Bates 29 yards on 5 carries and a touchdown. Ethan Fox had 10 yards on 3 carries, and Farrell Okel 13 yards on 3 carries. DJ White carried for 15 yards, and he also had 3 catches for 39 yards. Preddy also had a touchdown reception, and Brett Cooper with a touchdown reception. That opened up the scoring tonight way back in the first quarter when Cooper hauled in that 52-yard touchdown pass from Devin Bates. Cassville wins at 48-6 tonight, and they move on to the district semifinals next Friday night here in Cassville. The Wildcats, the number 2 seed, so they will be hosting, looks like the Monette Cubs. That game has not gone final as of yet. One game has gone final on the other side of the district. Seneca beating Reed Spring 21-14. Mount Vernon had a 26-0 lead over Nevada, and then Monette was leading Hollister 38-14. Those were the other matchups here in Class 3 District 6, but Cassville victorious tonight, 48-6 over the Aurora Hound Dogs. We'll take another break here as we continue our post game and be back with more here on the Talent Sports Network. little break here before we get to talk to Coach Parnell. But one thing that slipped my attention during the game tonight, and I'm going to see the folks that have hung on with us here to enjoy our post game. You got an opportunity here to win a couple of theater passes to B&B Theaters in Monette. I've got 2 passes to B&B Theaters, and again, I apologize, didn't give these away earlier, but got tied up and let it slip through the cracks. But for the folks that are still tuned in and listening to our post game, we appreciate that very much. And if you would like to go see the movies in Monette there at the B&B Theaters, I've got 2 passes to the theater, and all you have to do is call 489-2277. That's 489-2277. First person through on the phone lines gets 2 passes to the B&B Theaters in Monette. Wintertime's coming up. It's a great time to stay indoors and head and watch a great movie. 489-2277. That's 489-2277, the number to call. Now we'll take a break and be back to visit with Coach Parnell right after this. Back here at Cassville, the Wildcats defeat the Hound Dogs 48-6. Now joined by the head coach of the Cassville Wildcats, Coach Lance Parnell, for the post-game interview brought to you by the law office of John A. Leewright. They proudly support the Wildcats, and they want everyone to remember, if you don't talk, you may walk, and to call 417-847-2177. That's 847-2177. Coach, congratulations. The Wildcats are moving on to the district semifinals.
Thank you very much, Sammy. That's what we talked about all week, that nothing was guaranteed, that you had to earn your tomorrow, and I thought our kids came out and played well and earned their tomorrow.
Well, one thing that stands out when you look at the stats from tonight's ball game, of course, Cassville wins the turnover battle. No turnovers for the Wildcats, 4 turnovers for the Hound Dogs. But what even more on top of that is after all 4 of those turnovers, you were able to put touchdowns on the board.
Yeah, I thought our offense executed very well and capitalized on those turnovers. We got one there on the opening drive. We're able to go down and score and take an early lead. Got a couple interceptions, one right before half that, we then turned into a score as well. So I thought, and that's kids executing and understand we've gained momentum. now we can turn around and really capitalize and really push that momentum. I thought our kids did a nice job of that tonight.
Something else that was big tonight, too, the Hound Dogs, boy, they came out ready to play tonight. We talked about how they're down in numbers and then injuries and illness has depleted their ranks even more. But they were coming out ready to play some football, and they put together a nice drive, covered 80 yards, and scored and got the game to back to even. But then your kids responded and scored right after that, and that was key early in this football game.
They did, and we talked before the ball game with our kids. It was going to be a cold, quiet night here, and we had to find a way to create our own energy. And we didn't do that real well in the first half. Yeah, we go down to score, but defensively, and Coach Weldy at Aurora does an outstanding job. Jay Lee's a very good player quarterback. That young man. I'm glad to see him graduate. He is a phenomenal player. Just what a competitor, and you saw that early. I mean, he's making plays with his legs, extending drives, throws the ball well, and they executed very well on that drive. Made a big third down conversion where he scrambled, and we don't get him stopped, and that was just a good executed drive on their part, and I thought it woke our kids up a little bit defensively. And I thought we played much better from that point forward defensively.
One thing that was similar from the first meeting of the year between the Hound Dogs and the Wildcats, you were scoring quickly. A lot of big plays were either setting up scores or big plays that were resulting in touchdowns. And sometimes, I mean, it's good when that's happening because you're getting points on the board, but it's kind of hard to get a rhythm and a flow going because, boom, I mean, you got the ball, touchdown, and you're back defense again.
I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with that right now. Hey, Coach Clay Weldy on our end, keep doing it. Offense, keep doing it. I have no problem with that. Let's score, and we'll put our defense right back out on the field. And we need the refs to get better right now anyway. So
it was making the kids have to be on their toes, that's for sure, because you guys were spinning around and trying to run people in and out, and sometimes it was causing some confusion getting the right personnel on the field.
It did, and that's something that we worked this week. We've got 3 different personnel packages that we wanted to run this week, and we practiced it, and it looked, it can look pretty good in practice. They're not quite as far away, and there's not as loud and everything, but it was good for us. I thought our kids did a pretty good job. We had one little hiccup, and they tried to hurry up a little bit and catch us, and I think they caught us one time. But that's something that we've got to be able to do is move different personnel groupings in defensively, and we were able to work on that and get that done in the first half.
And still, after all of that, very efficient in the first half. You score on 4 of your 5 possessions. You come out and score your first 3 possessions of the second half to put the game away.
Yeah, like I said, we've talked a lot about our offense and efficiency this year, and I thought they did a great job tonight. I thought it was a great team effort offensively. The ball was distributed around quite a bit. We've talked a lot about Devin, but I thought our backs ran hard tonight. We had receivers catch the ball. Brett Cooper has a big touchdown catch, there in the first quarter. That was a big momentum push for us, and Devin did a nice job reading that and going to his secondary receiver there and made a good throw on the run. Lots of guys involved tonight, and that's always good to see.
Yeah, you continue to do that so extremely well. Now, Preddy did have the 4 touchdowns, but Bates gets a score. Ferris gets a score. As you mentioned, Brett Cooper getting one early on, so a lot of guys finding the end zone once again.
Absolutely, and we said that all year. We've got a lot of guys offensively that can do good things with the football and finding ways to get the ball in their hands. And I think Clay's done a really, really good job of that this year.
Got to give a tip of the cap to that second unit, too. They've been getting more and more accustomed to this, seeing time in the second half, but that group does a great job of clock management. I've never seen a group be able to tick every second and milk it off the clock as possible. Cutter Hicks is like cool under fire out there. He comes up under center, sometimes even holds his kids in the huddle until they break and go up, and then he's snapping it with 2 or 3 seconds on the clock every time.
Well, I was really proud of him. They did a good job protecting the football, getting some first downs, and milking the clock. And we took 5-6 minutes off the clock there on that drive, and which is exactly what we want to do. We have the running clock situation there, and let's keep it rolling and get it over. But those kids do it. It's a good experience for them to be able to step in a Week 10 playoff game and district game and get some reps there. So I was proud of the way they executed.
Yeah, and they know what they're supposed to do, and they execute it so very well because a lot of times you get young kids out there, they're kind of chomping at the bit, ready to go, but they know their job. Yeah, they're supposed to get some yardage, but they're supposed to get the time off the clock, and they do both very well.
And they did a good job of getting up, getting set. We had a couple penalties over there late. We ran some freshmen in there as well to get them, they come out on this cold night and they've been standing over on the sideline the whole time cheering their upperclassmen on, and have the opportunity to get them on the field. I think it's always a special moment, and they've got a lot to look forward to in the next 3 years. But I'm proud of that group, and then we came out, and that's a young group out there defensively on the last drive, and they found a way to get a stop, and keep the score where it's at.
Well, now you move on to the semifinals, get a rematch with Monette Cubs. Wildcats won the Berry County Brawl back in week 3, but now the season's on the line. This one, before it was for an upper hand in the conference and a trophy for the Berry County Brawl, but now it's all about the season continuing, and this one should be a good one next Friday night.
I think it will be. Monette is playing very, very good football. I don't think they've been beat since that week 3 game here, if my memory serves me right. Coach Yule does a good job. He's got a great group. They're very talented defensively, got good skill guys offensively. They've been putting up a lot of points and not giving up many points in the last several weeks. So it should be a whale of a ball game here, next Friday night.
Yeah, I can remember it was a very physical contest, a lot of hard hitting. There was a lot of sore young men on both sides probably come that weekend after that game. And, hey, that's what you expect this time of year.
Oh, absolutely. We've talked about how tough this district is. There's a lot of really good football teams in it. I'm looking here at your sheet. The top 4 seeds moved on. There's 4 very good football teams. We've kind of beat up on each other throughout the regular season. And it's the next 2 weeks in this district are going to be entertaining, I think.
And that's one thing. We talk about this being the second season, but that win way back there in week number 3 over Monette is why they're having to come to your place and not you having to go to theirs.
Exactly. That's what every ball game in the regular season is important. Everyone is important, and that was a big win for us. They're going to remember that win very well, or for them, that loss very well. And it'll be a very motivated Monette group coming down here next Friday. Anytime Cassville Monette gets together, it's always a big ball game, so it won't be any different Friday night.
Hopefully it'll warm up a little bit by next week.
Oh, it's wintertime, man. This is what November weather should be like, right? I mean, we're deep in the season.
I'm not talking about 60s or 70s, maybe just 40s.
You don't like the 30s? Did it get cold tonight? That ice is still going to be down there in that drain probably about Monday or Tuesday. I don't know. But
I think it will.
No, I told our kids this week, if you're still playing when it gets cold, that's a good thing. That is a good thing. I mean, we were griping when it was too hot back in August in practice, and we would have given anything for this. Hey, we're still playing. We're to week 11 now. I don't care if there's snow on the ground now. I'm excited to go play.
Jeremy and I was talking about that in the pregame tonight because with the season not starting until at the end of August this year, the way the calendar falls, state championships are going to end up the first part of December. So, hey, whether the snow's flying or whatever, you'll be enjoying playing in December.
It's late football weather. We're still playing in November, which excites me for this group of young men that I've got. And, they're going to come to work on Monday with a great attitude. They're going to work hard, and I'm looking forward to next Friday night.
We appreciate your time here in the post game. We'll catch up with you next week as you get ready for the Cubs, and congratulations on the win tonight.
Thank you very much. I want to say thanks to the fans that came out tonight and were in the stands for the cold. Really appreciate your support, and look forward to seeing all of you out next Friday. Susie and the girls will be headed home in a little bit. I love you.
Post-game interview with Coach Parnell brought to you by the law office of John A. Leewright. They proudly support the Wildcats, and their professional personnel believe in your rights to a fair hearing and representing you with the utmost expertise, integrity, and excellence. Phone the law office of John A. Leewright, 847-2177. Congratulations to Carolyn Kiltz as she won the 2 B&B theater passes to go see a show in Monette. So appreciate Carolyn staying tuned in for us, and thanks for listening. And congratulations on winning those passes to B&B Theaters. We'll take another break and be back to hand out our post-game awards right after this. time for our post-game awards. First off, the Wildcat Hard Hit of the Night, brought to you by B&K Auto Body, where fixing hard hits is their specialty. They use a Blackhawk frame, rack, and measurement system. They have free computerized estimates. B&K Auto Body also works with all major insurances. Call 847-3990. Our hard hit of the night came in the second half. Killian Barbie picks up the hard hit. As you pointed out when it happened, got a little ooh and ah and some cheering from the crowd. And that's usually one of the things that will bump you up on that list if we've got more than one player vying for that award, and that's what won it for him tonight.
That's certainly one of the criteria, and it happened to happen right in front of the Wildcat bench, so it was right in front of the home crowd, and just a big shot there by Barbie.
Yeah, he got cheers from his teammates on the sidelines and cheers from the crowd in the stands as well. So Killian Barbie gets our hard hit of the night. Again, it's brought to you by B&K Auto Body. They offer claims assistance with all major insurances. They also can do current paint and matching techniques to put your hard-hit vehicle back on the road again. Call B&K Auto Body at 847-3990. Our Wildcat Player of the Game is brought to you by Fast Trip at 104 South Main in Cassville. Great prices and friendly service is what you'll find at Fast Trip. Stop by today. Locally owned by Mike and Anita Carr. And our Wildcat Player of the Game, Bowen Preddy. 4 touchdowns tonight, 48 yards on the ground and 3 scores, and he had 1 catch for 15 yards and a touchdown, leading the Wildcats to victory, and he is our Wildcat Player of the Game.
Well, not a lot of yardage put up tonight by Preddy, but when you find the end zone 4 times, and their offense working with short field a lot tonight too, so but finding the end zone 4 times, that'll probably get you on that list.
And something we didn't point out, too, Zach Kanan get a little breather tonight to try to recoup on an injury, so that put Preddy at middle linebacker, filling in. He had to move over and take up that spot and did a very nice job on the defensive side of the football.
He really did. It was nice that they were able to let Kanan get an extra week here to heal up, and Preddy stepped in, did a nice job.
So, again, Bowen Preddy, our Wildcat Player of the Game, brought to you by Fast Trip. Ice cream, snacks, fountain drinks, grocery items, fuel, they have it all at the very best prices. Fast Trip, 104 South Main in Cassville, locally owned by Mike and Anita Carr. Finals now in Class 3, District 6. Monette defeats Hollister 38-14. Seneca knocks off Reed Spring 21-14, and Mount Vernon over Nevada 33-6. So it'll be the Mountaineers and the Indians next Friday night in Mount Vernon. In one semifinal, the Cubs and the Wildcats here in Cassville in the other district semifinal, and the winners move on to the championship on November the 15th. In Class 3 District 5, the winner of this district will move into the quarterfinals and face the winner of that district. Number 1 team in the state in Class 3, Blair Oaks, blasts St. James tonight, 68-7. Salem was a winner over Osage, 23-12. Buffalo knocks off Eldon, 41-6. And Rogersville pulls the upset of Springfield Catholic. They were the only higher-seeded team that lost tonight in these 2 districts, as Rogersville beats the Irish 26-7. Class 2 district play, East Newton scores late in the 4th quarter to pull to within 1, and then they get a late touchdown to win it 21-20. So another Big 8 team moving on to the semifinals as the Patriots win tonight in Class 2 district play at Houston.
Yeah, great job. Kind of expected them to maybe go over there and play well. Didn't know if they were going to pull it out, but that was a 4-5 matchup, I believe, in that district.
Yeah, Houston the 4 and East Newton the 5.
Yeah, so East Newton and
down 20-7 too.
Right, at one point, 20-7, battled back and come away with a big victory.
Another Big 8 team picked up a victory tonight in Class 2 district play. Lamar at home over California, 49-14.
Yeah, Lamar they get into that Class 2 playoff scenario and put up a lot of points. So. They keep moving. A lot of Big 8 schools representing in different classes. McDonald County not able to squeeze it out at Webb City, but 49-14 is respectable, I'd say, for the Mustangs there. But I tell you what, when you look at this District 6, Sammy, and the 2 games next Friday night, you want to talk about 2 football games that could go either way at any moment. I mean, all 4 of these teams can win this district.
Yeah, because Cassville, the top 4 seeds all advance, but when Cassville played Monette, it was decided by a single touchdown. When Mount Vernon played Seneca during the regular season, it was decided by a single touchdown. So that's what we're looking forward to again next week.
Absolutely. Ought to be 2 great football games.
That will be the district semifinals here in District 6 next Friday night. Mount Vernon at home against Seneca. And the Monette Cubs come to Cassville here to take on the Wildcats, and we'll be with you here on the Talon Network next Friday night from Wildcat Stadium as round number 2 of Monette versus Cassville, and this time the season's on the line, and a spot in the district championship will be there for the winner. We thank all the folks for being with us here tonight on the Talon Network. We also want to thank all of our sponsors for helping support our broadcasts. We'll appreciate their help so very much. You will hear them again here in the postgame wrap-up mentioned. Stop by and let those folks know that you appreciate their sponsorship of Wildcat Athletics and the broadcast here on the Talon Sports Network as well. Thanks also goes out to Athletic Director Doug Martin and all his staff for the hospitalities and courtesies this evening. And we appreciate Coach Parnell for coming up and visiting with us here in the postgame. And to Dwayne and Janet back at the studios, keeping an eye on things for us back at the station. We appreciate their help every Friday night through the football season, and the Wildcats have extended their season to one more Friday night, next Friday night in the district semifinals after the victory here tonight over Aurora. Once again, our final score, the Wildcats defeating the Hound Dogs by a score of 48-6. This is Sammy Clapper speaking for Jeremy and Todd. We appreciate you very much. Thanks so much for tuning in, and good night from Wildcat Stadium.